doesn't see. But she will be like, oh, for me to be submissive, right, he has to earn higher than me. No, it doesn't matter how much a man is earning. You still got to be submissive. Because the end product is a man. You still have to be submissive. Yes, most women in this level are highly educated but highly stubborn. Because you got to understand this, Allison. The more educated a woman is, the harder it is for her to keep a relationship. That's what it is, basically. Okay, go ahead, Vic.
I'm gonna listen to the women now. I want to hear their intake on that.
Yeah, Rhonda, tears.
Well,
Guys,
first,
you guys can say something.
hi. First of all, I want to. Oh wait, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you better today.
Okay. First of all, I want to. That word submissive has been misconstrued so bad. That word submissive has been around the world in 80 days. Seriously, it's been very, it's used lightly and it's used inappropriately. It has been used, you know, in many ways that is not meant to be used. So let's get the definition of submissive. What is a submissive woman to you, Alex? And then I want to hear
Yeah,
from
before you ask me that question, I got to throw that question back at you. What is so antagonistic about the word submissive?
No, I just said it's not a matter of that. It has been misused.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So
Let me
I
let
want
me
to ask,
let me
I want to
let me
ask you
address
as a
it. Let
man.
me go ahead then.
Okay, as a
Let me
man,
go ahead.
what is submissive to you? And then I want to hear from Victor.
I'm going to say what is submissive means to a man from my perspective, and then Victor can address what submissive is to a man from his perspective. Submissive to a man, I will say from African perspective, okay? And say from American perspective because I've lived in both society. When a man wants to marry a woman, he marries a woman that will conform to his own program. Meaning that he as a man will lay down how the marriage, how the family is going to work. What he wants in his house, the way he wants things to be done, the way he wants everything to be done, and the way he wants the kids to be taken care of. He lays his program. When he puts down his program, the woman implements it. You see what I'm saying? So the woman is the implementer. He is the one that comes up with the program. In certain cases, right? In most cases, the man still has to discuss that program with the wife to see if there are adjustments that can be made, right? When the adjustment is made or suggested, no, not made, but suggested by the wife or the wife or the woman to soon be, right? The wife to be. She gives some suggestion. Is the man that will then give the final approval. So, submission becomes her implementing what the husband approves after they've had their family discussion. A woman cannot implement anything that her husband has not signed off. Because
Wow.
when she, I'm coming. When she does that, yes, when she does that, what it does basically is that she undermines him. And when a man is undermined in his family, I got to tell you how problem starts because I've lived this life long enough that I've seen the damage that is done in families. I will use my mom as an example, and I will use a lady that I'm not going to name as an example because of our children. When my father said something when my mom was still alive, no matter what my mom wants to do, she will run it through my dad. If my dad approves it, my mom will say, okay, this is going to happen. I remember one time my mom wanted us to move to a certain place, right? In the city that we were living. She wanted to move to a different space, and my dad objected that we're not moving. My mom said, no, we're not moving because my dad objected. Then my friend, one of my friends, right? I always go to their house to spend time. And one thing that I saw in that house was how dysfunction things happen, because every time that the dad makes a decision, it gets undermined by their mother. And the result today is very painful. Not only that family, I've seen other families that it has happened. Every family that I went to that their dad has a final word always progress. Those kids, their result today is different from the families that I saw growing up that their moms undermine their dad. No single one of those families that their mom undermined their dad has recovered up to today. Submission in a relationship is very, very important because children are very manipulative.
That's
Once
true.
a mother undermines a father, that is the end of that relationship. Even if they remain in that relationship, the kids don't turn out good. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna try to be to the point, but I have to include a couple of things. So it may just bear with me. It may take me a minute because when you throw the term submit, it does seems like the woman has no position. But Alex, you did a pretty good job of explaining that. Hey, the man goes to the wife. He tells her what his plans is. They talk about it. They work it out, and then they enforce the plan. Okay.
That's right.
So I think a lot of that is true. I also think what I know for sure, and I'm gonna come back and clean this up. I know for sure that if a man says something and when he turns his back, the woman come back and says, "No, you don't do that. Do this." What you do? You see that even in corporate America, you strip the manager of his power.
That's right.
Because the scripture says a house divided would never stand. So now I'm gonna take y'all to scripture. Scripture says a house that is divided will never stand, because Jesus said, "How can Satan cast out Satan?" You see what I'm saying? So now, as far as the submission part, scripture said, "Wives, submit to your husband. Husband, submit yourself to your wife." It does not mean that he's your boss, that he gets to order you around. It don't mean that, because that right there is a form of control.
That's right. That's right.
Now, when you submit yourself to your wife has to submit herself to you, because scripture said y'all become one. Now, there are certain things a man does have to take control over in the household. I'll give y'all an example. Don't mean to be putting my business out there, but I'm gonna let y'all know. There's certain things that's going on in the household with my son and daughter. And I had to step in and say, hell no. And that was the end of the story. Because these things are unchangeable and unconditional.
That's right.
And if what I would say, if I found out, because the extremity of these situations, that it was done behind my back, then guess what? My house now becomes somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does not mean that she don't have a say so, because this is her house here. She's not a slave. When it's something there are other things that need to be dealt with, we talk. And sometimes I don't always have the best decision, and I listen to her, because sometimes she has better stuff than, she has better outlook on some of the things than I do. because I spend my time working, and she's here, and she knows X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. So I have to listen to her on certain things. It just can't be my way or the highway, because that'll be control.
Preach.
That would just be control. But when something happens that's gonna cause me to flex up, to straighten up, to put my feet up, or put my feet down, and ball my fist up, that decision comes through me.
You know, put it this way, Vic. Whenever you get into a marriage, that's why it's good to have discussions before marriage, or as the early stage of the marriage. There are things that men don't get involved in a marriage. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
In Africa, it's called women thing. There are things that a woman can handle.
That's true.
But then there are things that a man, anything that goes outside the house has to take the man's permission is needed. Because it's his last name that is on the line. When the kids need something or starts misbehaving or certain attitude are being projected out of the cage, right? Yes, the man has to say so. You see what I'm saying? That is why it's very, very important that before something is said in a family or done in a family, right, it should be done with the knowledge of the man, because you don't want him to be taken unaware. And because what happens is that women have ego as well. When a man is taken unaware, this is why the word submission is very important, and I think you guys should take it very important. Let's say a child wants to go somewhere, and the man doesn't know about it, or he wants something and the thing was purchased without his knowledge, but then when it becomes problem, then he knows. He's not going to be happy, because guess what? His permission was never sought. You see? And the thing about two agreeing is this. You got to because one thing that kills marriage in this society is this. A lot of women, because they earn money, they think that they don't need a man's permission. And I think it's because it's done the wrong way, because most of the time the men are moving into a woman's house instead of the woman moving into the man's house. So it kind of muggy the water. So some women don't understand that I'm in a man's house. So when you ask her, she takes it that, no, he's in my house. Whereas it's supposed to be the other way around. You see what I'm saying? So a man shouldn't be moving into a woman's house at the first place. That's to say that everything that is done in that house needs his permission in most cases. Not everything. Most things that are done in that house requires his permission.
Let's hear the women. Let's hear the women, because we've been talking. I want to hear their perspective. So let's hear the women.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Tia. Rhonda, you guys say something.
Okay, Tia.
Rhonda, Tia, any of you can say something. Don't matter. Any of you.
I can't hear Tia. It's like she's far away.
You can't hear her at all.
I'm in my car.
Her mic is far from her mouth.
I think she said she was in the car or something.
Yes, I'm in the car.
Okay. Rhonda, go ahead.
Well, again, the word submit. I don't have a problem submitting to a man. And to me, submission will be easy if we're working together. My Bible tells me that the man is the head of the home. Right? It never says that he makes all the rules. He is over me, and in the
No. The Bible says The Bible said it's over you. God is over the man is over the woman, and the woman is over the kids.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh,
right.
Okay, my bad. I thought she said it is not over her.
No. She said it, and the Bible said the man is over her. She said that.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Submitting yourself one to another submitting yourself one to another. So that
Which,
submission tells me it goes both ways, right?
that's what it says.
My
I don't think so.
Yes, that's what the word says. And
It says
No,
that.
it doesn't say a man should submit to a woman. It says a man should love a woman.
Hold on. Let me. I got my laptop. Let me
Yeah,
pull up. Y'all keep talking. Let me pull up
there
and
is
see
no
what the
way it
scripture
says
says.
submit to a
Hold
woman
on.
because two
Hold
people
on.
cannot. A
It
president
says
of the United States cannot be submitted to the vice president. The vice president has to be submitted to the
We talking
president.
about a marriage though. Well, hold on
The
one
head,
second.
no, it's the same thing, bro.
Listen what it
The
says.
head
Hold on.
cannot.
It
You
says
can't have two captains in a house.
listen, Alice. It says, giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. I've always
That's
known this since I was a little girl.
that's not referring to husband and wife. You have to
Wouldn't-
That is
read
what
more
I can't
into
hear
that.
it here.
It is because the
That's
next
not referring. No, that's not referring to husband and wife. You have to read more into that. And
okay, but
that's not
here
what that referring
the
to.
next
Submitting.
verse, the next verse right after that says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord." This is talking about
That's
marriage.
right.
This whole
That's
scripture,
right.
Ezekiel 5.
Yeah, a
Talks
wife
about
submit
marriage.
yourself unto your husband. Never said, "My husband submit yourself unto
Right.
your wife."
It
Correct.
never said it in those words, but it said submitting
Okay.
yourselves
No.
one to
I have
another.
never. This is my
Uh.
first time hearing
Right.
that a man should submit
That's
to. Is
incorrect.
never in
Right.
any scripture. Not even in any. I'm not a Christian. It's not even in any
I
tradition
Go ahead, Tia.
whatsoever.
I have to agree with Ron. I'm sorry, Al. It does not. The Bible doesn't say for women to submit unto one to another. It's talking about that. That's not referring to husband and wife. Women are to submit as the husband submit to Christ.
To Christ, and then
Right.
Christ to the. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I agree with that.
yeah,
So,
rather. Right.
I mean,
Go ahead, Tia.
the husband is always the head of. I think oftentimes, we a lot of women want to still take control, and without having given their husbands the actual respect of he is the household and he should have the last word in whatever goes on. We and again, I agree with Victor when he was talking about control. We have to oftentimes men sometimes take that word and is used more so as controlling the house in a bad way. But the husband should have the last and final say of the household. I mean, we should be able to voice our opinion, share our opinion. But if it always should be the husband has the last final
What
say, and that's
I'm,
not what. And
go ahead.
hold on 1 second. In
Go
1
ahead.
second, if anything goes incorrect, if you share your thoughts with your husband and your husband disagrees, so forth, and he tends to not listen, then God will hold him accountable for whatever actions he did accordingly. So he won't hold us accountable because we did what we're supposed to do. He's going to hold the husband accountable. But oftentimes, women still want to take control
That's
and control the
yes,
relationship.
that's true.
And that's
Yeah.
why
Okay.
you have so
Okay.
many.
Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second.
Let
Hold
me-
a second. Hold on a second. I just read verse 29
Uh-huh.
through
You see,
30,
what you
verse 29 through 33, 21 through 33.
Uh-huh.
And, unless I'm misreading this, that's exactly what it said.
What does it say?
says that, but you need to make sure you study. You have to study. You have to make sure you're understanding it correctly. And I would advise you to get a Greek Bible to break down what those
Victor,
what
you
the
the
words
first.
meaning.
Victor, you the first guy that I've ever heard that said a man should submit to a woman. That took me by
No.
shock.
I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it like that. We talking about in marriage. I'm reading
I'm
from what
talking
it
about
said, word for
marriage.
word, verbatim.
It did not
I've
literally
read the Bible so many times. I've
I have
never
too.
even had even the most feminist pastor have not even said that at all.
It did not literally say that a man is supposed to submit to his wife. It said that submitting yourselves to one another. This
To
is what the Bible
God.
is saying. That, no.
It said in fear of God.
Not in the fear
No,
of God. This is what I'm saying. Listen, I know this since I was 5 years old. I'm not boasting or anything. My father was I'm a PK. I'm a preacher's kid. I read the word, I study the word, and
I
he all
grew
this
up
in
in the
Bible.
church.
Okay? Yeah,
I
I'm just
grew up
saying.
in the
And I'm not
church.
saying that because
I
I
gotta
know.
pull over for this. Let me get my word out so I can.
Okay, okay. So what I'm saying, okay, let me tell you this. Let me quickly tell you the story. I have an
Okay.
uncle and aunt.
Run it. You sound muffled, baby. You kind
Oh,
of
sorry.
come going in and out, in and out, in and
I'm
out.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
I got an uncle and an aunt, right? They're both Christians. They both, in fact, her husband was a minister. He was a pastor of a church, right? And something came up in the household where he was going to put some money on something. I don't know. It wasn't a bet or anything, okay? It was something, an investment, right? They prayed about it, and he was so one ho about doing this investment. His wife came to, they got together. The wife said, I prayed about it, and God told me to tell you to wait. Hold up. He was like, no, 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 no. I heard from God too. Anyway, long story short, he's the man of the home. He's the head of the home. He went ahead and the investment failed. Right? Now, I'm just saying this to say, right? I don't believe that when two people come together, you have a big something big to deal with. My money is in the pot too. Not only your money, we're dealing with this together. So if we lose, we both lose. Okay? And I go back to us, a couple being a couple, meaning that we are in it together. It's not just you in it and you doing your own thing and you making your own
You
decisions. When
see,
you're married,
your feelings
no,
is
wait. Alex, it's not feelings. It's communication. It's understanding of each other. What are we doing together? Are we married, but you can do your own thing and I can do my own thing? Is that what we're doing in our marriage? Or are we
you
doing
see.
things together?
All right, let me address that. You guys have to seek each other's opinion whenever you
Correct?
get into anything that
Correct?
puts the name of the family out. You see what I'm saying? You have to discuss it. But what everybody knows about a peaceful marriage is that the decision has to come from the man. You see, right? So when you've told him this and that this is what you think, this is what you've prayed over, and this is what God is telling you, it still comes down to the man to make the decision because his name is out there. And guess what? When you put it to business is a risk. If you listen to people and don't take the risk of doing business, it jeopardizes your future prosperity. Then this is how it gets dicey. This is where family fall apart. I gotta be honest with you. A man can make that decision easily and take the loss and put his family financial security at risk. This is how the world is biased, and the world don't owe you and I apology for that. It's just how God created it. Women don't like it, but they pay the price. What you don't like as a woman doesn't concern God or man. You see what I'm saying? Your feelings doesn't concern God or man. If God didn't like it that way, he wouldn't have made it like that. If you take the same step as a wife, right, you might lose your relationship, right? Because your husband has not put his final stamp on it. So he asked for your opinion, but he made the decision, right? You ask for his opinion and you make the decision, that can put your marriage at risk. But he can get away with it. But that's how God made it.
Okay, let me do this.
Women don't like it.
Let me
Victor
do
might
it like
disagree
this.
as
Let me
much
do
as
it
he
like
wants,
this.
but- yeah?
Let me do it like this.
Okay.
Now, what I think maybe I need to retract some of that because I went back because I started at Ephesians 5:21, but I went back to 20. Now, if you read it from 20, it sounds a little bit different. It does. It said, giving thanks always for all things unto God in the name of the Father, the Lord Jesus Christ. Then it says, submitting yourself one to another. So that may be talking about people
It
in
is.
general.
That's I had to pull
That's what
over.
we told you earlier.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
what this is.
Ephesians 5.
And
If you
then
read verse
also
6,
another
it's
thing
still, you see
Yeah,
the verse
that's
6, I
talking
think
about
verse 6
people. That's
clarifies it.
people. Yeah. So
If you
I
read
messed that
verse
up. My
6,
bad.
right?
Hey, okay,
Verse
I
6,
messed it up. Damn it.
Yeah, good, good. No,
You're
because
wrong.
I was laughing because I know that thing. Since I was a little kid, he was always singing to my ears all the time. So
But
going
you know,
forward, right? So Rhonda,
can I interrupt one quick second regarding that again? If
Go
you
ahead.
notice, if you're gonna, we're going to biblical notes. I oftentimes we always hear the. I'm not gonna say you all bashing, but you are saying how the women often does not do a lot of things in the Bible. Biblically, it does not tell us to love the husbands. It doesn't tell us. It tells us to submit, but it does not say to love. But it does tell the men to love the wives,
The wives.
and that's something that
Yes, that's correct.
oftentimes is not done.
Yeah,
They
it does
that's
say
right.
that. It does say that.
Allison asked me a question. Let me answer Allison real quick. She said, so Alex, if the decision is the wife's idea, how is it presented to the family? Yes. If a wife has an idea of how to make the family prosperous, she has to present it to the family because her interest is to make sure that her seed is protected. Let's put it this way. In every relationship, in every marriage, the man's legacy is protected. The man's greatest interest is his legacy. That is why you can see men can marry 1, 2, 3, 4 wives, right? Men can marry 1, 2, 3, 4 wives. They don't care. All they care is that their legacy is protected. What a woman cares about is her seed. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Allison says she cannot hear me. Allison, check your connection.
I don't even see Allison. I don't even see Allison logged in. I see Tia and Rhonda and me. I don't see nothing with Allison on her.
No, she's logged in. She's not, her mic and stuff is not connected, so you guys can't see her. I'm the only one that can see her, but she's typing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't hear me instead. You know what, Allison, go out and come back in. Go out and come back in, or maybe check your mute. Check your mute. Go out and come back in, okay? Because I know Rhonda. I think Rhonda is just coming back. Go out and come back in so I can answer your question. When you come back, Alice, okay, you guys continue talking. Let me type her. You guys can go ahead.
No, y'all, they can go ahead. I'm just listening.
Yeah, Tia, you can go ahead.
Somebody go ahead.
Somebody go ahead. Any of you?
All right, y'all gonna put me to sleep. Go ahead, somebody.
Again, I don't know. I just know this submission thing. I understand it, that a woman's supposed to submit to her husband.
We can't hear you. You're muffling.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry. Let me answer Allison's question. She's back. Allison she says, so Alex, if the decision is the wife idea, how is it presented to the family? Okay, what I'm saying is this, right? A man's interest is his legacy. A woman's interest is her seed. That's why you see men will do anything to have children, because they don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women. All they care is their name, their last name to continue, their name to continue. But a woman's greatest interest is her seed. So a woman will always be scared of, are you making the right decision? Are we making money to protect my children? Yes. So when a woman have an idea, Allison, it's very important that she present it to her family. You present it to your family and then ask your husband his input. Bring it down to him as comfortable as possible. Have humility to your presentation. Be humble. Make it humble. Be you. Sell it to him. Sell the idea to him. And get his approval. But I won't tell anybody. Should she not talk to her husband first? She has to talk to her husband first. She can do that. You know one thing, this. like I always tell women, the greatest place to get a man's attention is on the bed. When you guys are laying down about to go to sleep, put that idea, tell him what you think and what you have in mind. And guess what? 9 out of 10 times, he's listening. When you think he's not listening, that is where the problem is. You guys might think we're not listening. Might not be paying attention. That we don't want to hear your idea. No, we really want to hear your idea. Bring it up.
So,
Say
Alex,
it. Yeah.
I have a question for you because I feel like you said something earlier that contradicts what you're saying now. You said before that men don't really need a woman, right? But then
No, I'm going by Allison's question. She's asking
I understand that. But my question to that is, if a man doesn't need a woman, then how is his legacy going to go forth? He needs
that is okay. I
woman
don't think I contradicted myself. This is what I said. I said men don't need women to survive.
Okay,
But men, that's number one.
What is the forefront of a man? His legacy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But listen, just check the next thing I'm going to say. Remember, I said men don't need women to survive, but men need women to continue their legacy, right? Men need women to have the next generation. We can only survive a generation without women. You see? But if we need the next generation, which is to reprocreate, a man can't have a child. We need women to do that. But we can't, we create civilization. We can last from 1 year to 100 years. We don't need a woman for that, right? But if we want to continue the next 100 years, we need a woman. We need them. We need her. But women can't survive more than 15 years without a man. They cannot. Because there are many things that the civilization will fall apart. Let's say right now, men become extinct next year. By 2035, all the high rises will start crumbling. Civilization will be dead by 2045 because men have to go do those work. Yeah. So Allison was saying that she said, is the presentation to the family coming from the man as the figurehead? No, the woman can present it. It's her idea. Okay, this is the thing about masculinity and femininity. This is the thing about masculinity and femininity. A man doesn't stop a woman from excelling. Just like there are dads out there that pay huge amount of money to send their daughters to college, right? But the same dads want their daughters to go to their husband's house and be submissive. Even with all that money that he has spent in college, he still wants her to go to her husband and treat her husband like a husband. He doesn't want the daughter to go there and compete with the husband. No. I don't think that's any man's idea. Victor can tell you the same thing. I don't think Victor sent his daughter to college to go and compete with her husband. I don't think that's Victor's idea.
Nope.
So you have to, if it's your idea to come up with something that will move your family forward as a mother, you got to present it to the family. No, your husband will not present it. You have to present it.
And if you present it and he doesn't agree with it, what happens?
Then you stuck.
Then I'm stuck.
That is why, as a woman, the life is not fair for you in that regard. You got to choose two ways: marriage or your job. And most women choose their job over marriage, and they pay the price today. Because 10 years into your job, you need a man. But when you project that masculinity that you're not supposed to project, you project it and say, remember we're talking about level 5. I can do it all by myself. I don't need no man. You got to pay that price. There is consequences to those. There are consequences to those decisions. That is why this is one thing that kills America. I grew up as a little kid. I saw my mom did it many times, and she made some mistakes. And she actually told me later on that she made some mistakes. When a man tells you no, that doesn't necessarily mean he said no. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. When a man says no, doesn't necessarily mean he says no. That means try again. Maybe I didn't like your energy. Try again. Maybe the way you said it, he didn't like it. Try again. Maybe you projected too much masculinity during the conversation, right? Or you shut off, he was trying to give you one or two ideas, then you shut him down. You see, you becoming too masculine, and he doesn't like that. Try again. That is why they said a woman has to know how to approach her husband. It's highly important. Somebody say something.
Interesting. Well, I would say the only thing I can say is, and maybe I don't understand what's the word, the secular part of this. Okay, I only understand the spiritual part of it because my whole being and my whole thought of life and marriage and in a marriage, how a marriage is supposed to work is if my man or my husband is the head of me or head of our home, he is. So I want to see attributes of God in him. And I bring this back. I can't talk about a secular level because that will take me out of my realm of who I am.
Yeah, Rhonda. Let me ask you a quick question, Rhonda. Okay, before I do that, listen, alpha female is a very, very bad idea. A woman shouldn't be alpha at all. Alpha means that you projecting your femininity, your masculinity.
No, alpha means you projecting yourself as the head. When you're alpha, means you're the head, you're the leader.
That's the same thing that I'm saying. You projecting your masculinity instead of your femininity. That's the word alpha. You projecting your masculinity instead of your femininity.
Alpha has a lot of different meanings because Michelle Obama is an alpha female.
Because her husband allowed her to do that.
Well, not only that her husband allows her to do that. That's who she is. She's just very assertive in a lot of her stuff. Right?
Rhonda, I understand you, but let me tell you something. If Obama didn't allow her to do that, that marriage would not last to today. Anything a woman does and a man is there, a man allows her. It's just like the way they say, feminists were able to get things done is because men allow them. You see what I'm saying? You get this law passed because men allow you. If Obama doesn't agree, if President Obama doesn't agree to things that she's trying to do, he will shut her down. And if she doesn't want to, if she's not going to let to be shut down, that marriage they wouldn't have made it to where they were today. It's because he allowed it. You see, that is why you see.
I think because he listened to her and she had some good ideas.
That is why he allowed that. That's the same thing I said. He allowed that.
I feel like some men, like because they're the man, they made the decisions. You know, as you said, the wife come to you. You know, you the man. If you don't make the decision, you say no. You said no doesn't mean no. No means try again, right? My thing is, God made us to be to have a relationship so that we can help build one another, so we can help one another. Your college education might be more than mine. My ideas, if I'm let's just say for instance, I won't go that way, but if I'm married to a person who doesn't know the Lord or is not a Christian, right? My ideas, I am a Christian. My ideas of praying and seeking God for certain things for my marriage, for things that would better our marriage. And I go to my husband. Now that right there is unequally yoked. I know that. Okay. But I go to my husband, who is the head of my home, for ideas, and he doesn't have any kind of godly ideas because he don't pray, he don't seek God, he don't do nothing. Then what? then that to me. So my standard is I got to have a man who hears from God, who knows God, because the minute once he's following God, I know I can follow him. If he's not under God's banner, then the whole thing collapses.
No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on. You cannot. It's like it's like you ate your cake and you want to have it.
What you mean?
Why would you get into a marriage with somebody you don't even agree with his religious belief? Or you shouldn't even have been in the marriage at the first place.
That's what
that means you got into this guy. This guy doesn't follow God, right?
Yeah.
And then you married him.
No, that's what I said. No, I said in that case we already unequally yoked. If he doesn't believe.
Victor, I think the movement of your phone. Yeah. I think the movement of Victor's phone. Victor, put your phone and put your mic on the mute. So once you want to say something, take it off the mute, okay? Once you want to say something,
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, the movement of your phone is doing woo in the background. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's because somebody just called me. That's why you heard that noise.
Okay. Victor, yeah, Rhonda, what were you saying?
All right, I want to ask Victor what he thinks.
What I think about, well, okay. Let me just say this. Whether you call yourself a Christian or not a Christian, whatever you call yourself, or just if you want to call yourself a follower of God, God's intention was God, Christ, man, woman, children. That's what their intention was. That's
for
God
Christians,
made
right?
Man.
For Christians, right?
Well, it's in a lot of, if you want to call it Christian, it's in a lot of different Bibles and different cultures.
I put it this way. God,
okay, you
man,
let me
woman.
Let me finish, sir. Let me finish because I said it in that order. I already said it in that order. Okay, so when if you're talking biblically, God established man first. He brought in woman to help him cultivate the things that he was doing because he was alone. We're supposed to follow that order. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to follow it up. Man is supposed to seek God. That's what he's supposed to do in his marriage, so his marriage would be right. His marriage would be anointed. Man is supposed to seek God. Now, if man is seeking God, the woman is supposed to follow the man if he's seeking God. Now, what Alex was saying earlier, and I got that we going 100 miles an hour right now, but all he was saying, Rhonda, is that, and maybe he missed some stuff you said, and maybe you missed some stuff he said, but what he was saying is before you get married, you should understand whether your man is already following God or not following God. And
I agreed.
Yes. Right. Now, it does not mean you can't have a successful marriage, because I've known people, you've known times where the woman was been the one going to church all the time, and some of the men don't go to church. You know Correct. What I'm saying? Yep. Because the scripture says that the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous person availeth much, which means whoever's going to see God, that person's prayer covers that family. Because one person going to church can cause a whole family to be saved. Because God listens to the prayers of that person. It does not mean that God doesn't listen, and it does not mean that woman can't do stuff. It does not mean that at all, because sometimes men can be driven by their ego. I'm the man of the house. Damn it, that's the way it's gonna be. You do what I say you do, and sometimes it's just stupid.
You gotta when you deal with a man, you always gotta watch out for that ego. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta watch out for the ego. Now,
you always gotta be watching out for that.
Now I'm gonna clean up Alex. What Alex is saying. Alex is saying basically, if you are following a righteous man, then the woman should submit herself to him. If you're following a righteous man, we're not talking about Bobo them out there, the street pharmacists, and all them. We're not talking about the dude that's in the club and the dude that think he's a gangster rapper. Alex ain't talking about that dude. What he basically saying, to clean it up, he's basically saying a righteous man, a man of God, the woman is supposed to follow that man, because that is the natural order.
And just a second upon just to talk a little bit further without the religious aspect. I
Mm-hmm.
think, in my personal opinion, I think American women are more so wants to be the alpha in everything.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
we're
Absolutely.
the only culture that does that. If you take religion out of it all, if you take the Christianity out of it all, and Oscar is probably the only person that can vouch for it. But within the African community and the country Africa, I've seen Hispanics, I've seen
It's
the
it's almost in
Asian.
every country.
Yes, except for America.
It's only in the
Where
West.
Now,
where
now.
hold on. Let
Okay,
me finish.
go
Hold
ahead.
on. Where the women totally in America, I feel as if, and I've done this myself, where the women totally wants to be in charge of everything, and then they want to rule, and they want to have their way. We're spoiled in America. We want our way. We want what we want when we want it.
That's
Okay,
right.
Only
and I
actually
got
in
a reason for
America.
that. I have a reason for that. This is not going to summarize everybody, but it's going to summarize a lot. Because in this country, it has been systematically dealt with the black family, and the black family was destroyed. Systematically. Systematically, they took the man out. The men went to jail. Some men nowadays are growing up homosexuals and all this kind of stuff and transgender. See, when I was coming up, my uncles and his brother and them and my dad and them, they always at home with their wives. But then this independent stuff came up, when the welfare system even came up, they let the white man and the white woman be in the same household, but they told the black woman, you can't have no man in the household. See what I'm saying? And every time something, they thought of every way they could to destroy the black man.
You
And
know,
they doing
I
it on a level that you don't even know about. They doing it on a level that some of y'all don't even know
I
about.
gotta be honest with you, Vic. That stuff was debunked.
No, it wasn't.
You know why it was?
You know,
You
no,
know how it was
hold on, bro.
debunked?
Hold on, bro. You talking to a dude that was born here,
I know,
and I seen
but
this with my own
but that's
eyes.
what you were hearing. You know why? You know why I said it was
No,
debunked?
no, bro. I'm
No,
telling you, I
let me
saw
just tell you.
this.
I know, I
saw this
understand,
with
but
my own
let me
eyes.
tell you what it said. This is a lot of people that grew up in that generation, not just born in that generation, that grew up in that generation as well. They were much older in that generation, like in their 20s when this thing was going up. Actually, told me multiple times that what happened is this. So what they did is that they created a system. They created the welfare system, right? In that welfare system, the men were going to go work at GM and all these industrial companies like Detroit and all those places, right? The black men. So a lot of black men were employed at that time. But one thing that surprised, because what they were trying to do was to get black men to go work in order to reduce the amount of black women that were taking welfare. The welfare already got into program. The program that you were talking about started earlier. But that wasn't the intention. So they found out that a lot of black women were taking out welfare. So to reduce that, they employed a lot of black men into the industrial complexes to work. As the men were working, the women were still taking the welfare. Then they did a study that came out, and when the study came out, it said that what the women did was to start leaving their husband because they didn't want. They found out that the welfare they were getting was actually relieving them of their husbands, so they started leaving their marriage. What happened is that in the 80s, look at what happened in the 80s. I'm going to send you a program.
I'm gonna tell you like this here, bro. I don't know
Yeah.
what the system said and what the study said, but I'm gonna tell you what I saw. Okay,
Okay.
because a lot of black men back in the day couldn't get certain jobs. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't get. There was only so many jobs that was available to black men. You see what I'm saying? So whatever the system said, of course they're gonna try to debunk that. But the truth of the matter is I lived it because I lived in the projects and I saw it.
as Allison just commented, she said the American culture has been set up to separate and divide the black families, and that is
It
so
has
true.
been.
That has been
There
so
is always
true.
truth. There are truths to that. There are truths to that, but there is not completely true, because I got to tell you something. There is this lady, a client of mine. She worked at Raytheon, right? She's one of the top engineers there, a black woman from Alabama. So she and I were heading to Raytheon one day. So we're discussing about the Raytheon hiring system, and she told me, Alex, I got to be honest with you. In my company at Raytheon, I'm responsible in hiring so many people. Do you know how many times that I've put out words, try to get black people to apply for jobs?
Okay, when was this,
I would
Alex?
hire, but
When was this?
Victor,
I'm
Okay, let
asking
me
you, when
just
was
say
this?
this.
why would I give out our name?
No, I'm not asking for a name. I said, when was this that you talked to her
This
about
was
these
like
jobs?
2 months ago.
We ain't talking about 2 months ago.
Okay,
We talking
hold on.
about in the
Let me
70s.
just interrupt. Let me just interrupt because I'm
No, I'm
not.
just giving you I'm just giving you a new reference. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to interrupt because we're going back into the system, regardless of who did what. It really doesn't matter what happened. I'm talking about right now. We want to blame the system, but forget the system. We still
right
women
now we
still don't
can't.
want to. Women still don't want to submit to a man. Women still want to be in
100%.
charge. They still want to be in charge. They still want to have full control. It has nothing to do with what the system did to the black family.
It has nothing to do with a white man.
We need to stop crying that cry and change the problem within our own homes.
Well, let me. But I was going to try to finish this thought before I got cut off.
You cut me off. You cut me off.
Oh, okay.
ahead.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Dan. But the reason why I brought that up was because when I saw that growing up, it went from one generation to the next. You see what I'm
You
saying?
saw that. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
That
I saw
wasn't
it.
in my
Believe me,
area.
I saw it because
But
when I was growing up, there was a lot of what y'all call alpha females in my family. There was a lot of them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I didn't see that. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up. My brothers are married. I grew up in a two-parent home. So
Yes. Yeah, different case.
So yeah, so it's not. It didn't happen in my community because
Yeah. Yeah, Tia.
I also real quick. Let me interject.
a
What
lot
happened?
of strong. There was not a man. There was a man that was actually involved. It was a man that was taking control. Whether it was a brother, an uncle, a grandfather, somebody from the church, they were actually taking control of the household for that single woman. And a lot of times, the single woman, the husband may have died or divorced, but there was an alpha man in that community. So therefore, that wasn't. We looked out, and we no longer look out for men. I don't see a lot of men that's actually looking out for, the single parent. They're not becoming that. So we got to stop blaming the system and start saying, what
You can't
are you
blame
doing
the system anymore.
You cannot. I'm so tired of hearing what the white man has done. What are we doing? And that's why oftentimes the women are just. The women are just they don't want to listen. They don't want to submit. The men don't want to do their job. It's an equal thing, and that's probably why the marriages are the way they are. Everybody wants to be in charge, and nobody actually wants to lead. And then those that want to lead.
Tia, Victor, you guys check this out. There is no way. I gotta say it, and I gotta say it any day, anytime. No, Victor, you know this. I'm surprised what you're saying tonight, to be honest with you. You cannot be blaming a white man for the decision of a black woman or an African.
Hold on.
I have a
bro.
sister. Let me tell you this. Excuse me. No. Let me finish. Let me finish real quick.
Okay.
I have a cousin sister that got into a situation with her husband. This doesn't really apply to African Americans anymore. Remember, as I always say this, right? It's in the black community, both African and African Americans. I have a cousin sister. She got into a situation with her husband. They started abusing each other. They really abused each other. I knew they were abusing each other. But I had to go separate her from that. She left and became too independent. She found it difficult to go back to her husband. And the reason why she found it difficult because she became so independent. And my other cousin sister told me about it. She's like, don't let her go too far. That she is going to become too independent. She's never going to go back to her husband because she's going to be like, I can do it all by myself. And it turned out happening. You see what I'm saying? So I've seen it so much among my family members here in America. And I got to tell you, just like Allison, just like if we are unwilling to accept our past, we will repeat it. That's true. I got to tell you, we have to understand that two people cannot captain a ship. One person has to sit back and let the other person do that job. Even if that person end up running you into an iceberg, right? He's going to be blamed for running into an iceberg. But if you interject the ceiling of that ship, you might run that ship into a rock. Not an iceberg, because an iceberg you don't see. But a rock you can see very clearly. You see what I'm saying? So, a woman.
So what do you think? That the man will run the ship into an iceberg, but the woman will
hold
run
on.
the ship into a rock? I don't understand that.
Well, hold on.
Okay, let me explain.
Well, hold on.
If a man is sailing a ship, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's sailing that ship, and he made a calculated error, right? And based on his calculation and navigation, he didn't know that there is an iceberg that an ice that was already formed on that water.
Right.
If he wrecks that ship because of the iceberg, because you know the tip of an iceberg is usually smaller than the iceberg itself, right? The failure of that cell will be blamed on the man, which means the failure of that family will be blamed on the man, because it was his ship, he's the captain. But if two captains are riding a ship, meaning that if a husband and wife are both riding a family, they're going to keep arguing with each other until they will find out when it's become too late for them by saying that, oh shit, their ship is heading towards a rock. An iceberg is small, but a rock, if you ever sail on a ship before, you find out that the mountains are big. Mountains are so big, it's very visible. But icebergs are so small, you hardly can see it if you're not using a navigation system, right? But remember, family.
I don't know if I'm understanding. I understand what you're saying, Alex, but to me, this whole topic, it's like the man is not doing wrong, or even if he makes a mistake. But once it's a family, and if it's the woman's side, then the whole thing is collapsed. This is what I'm getting from you for some reason.
Say one more time.
I'm feeling like you're saying that when the man is steering the ship, he makes an error. Okay, he runs into an iceberg, right? But when it's the two of them, and they're going down the line and there's problems and stuff, most times, like, okay, what you're saying is if the woman tries to usurp authority, then it's a whole shipwreck. The whole thing collapses.
That's right. It's a whole shipwreck, because the thing is that...
No, then you're making, to me, this whole thing, you're making it be a man thing, a masculine thing, that a man is in control of everything.
A man has to be in control. A man cannot apologize for his masculinity. That's what I'm trying to tell men. You cannot apologize for being a man, no matter how much a woman wants to shame you about it. It's a man's world.
But you allow your woman. Then why you need a woman? If you are a man that controls and does everything, then you don't need a woman.
That is the problem now. A man is not controlling. A man is navigating.
Can I finish my thought?
A man is not controlling. He's navigating.
We don't win 10 minutes out the way, and I never got a chance to complete my thought.
Victor, it's fine. If I allow it to happen, let it happen. Because guess what? It's part of the fun of this
Well, I mean that's fine,
this
but
stuff.
but I didn't get a chance to finish my whole
Oh,
entire
my bad. Go
thought.
ahead, bro. Go ahead,
Okay.
bro.
Okay. So when we was talking earlier, and when I went into the destruction of the family, I wasn't talking about it in today's society. I was just talking about where it came from because I'm the
You
first one who
started.
said I'm the first one who said that with all because I've told you this before. I said with all the resources we have, we shouldn't be asking nobody for anything. I've said that before.
That's right.
We should have to go for people for jobs. We should have to go people to we should have our own banks. Everything that we want, we have people in power in place that can give those things for. So I don't go around blaming the white man for nothing. Because
At all.
you talking to a guy who came up who could barely get a job at times. I went through growing up as a young man. To get a job, I had to go through so many temp agencies just to get a permanent job. And then when I did get one, it was part time. So when I was saying those things, I was not blaming the white man for now because now we have Negroes in charge that won't do a damn thing for us.
And
Do
I
you know that?
agree, totally
Do you know
agree with
that?
you, Victor. But wait, let me say something. But
Oh, let me
the
finish,
the
Rhonda.
system to me is still structured to separate because you have your young man growing up, and I have a son, right? And I remember at one time, I used to have to tell my boy all the time, when you're going in the car and you're going for a drive, put on a shirt, right? Wear a shirt because if you wear those white beaters and you got braids in your hair, they profile you. So it's still happening today. In today's society, it's set up to take the black man out of the homes. When the black man leaves the home, they leave their wives and their kids to survive. So now we women become the strength of the home because our man is now locked up. And it's happening in today's society. People say that's the past thing. That's not a past thing. It happens every day that a black man goes to jail and leaves his
Well,
family.
well, I wasn't saying that it don't happen. I was just saying in the beginning what the destruction of the black family was once again. And what I was saying, economic wise, we have a lot of resources. And okay, and let's talk about that. What you just said. One of the problems that I have in the black community right now is because we got all these black people in power, and when all this stuff is going on with the preacher, what's the first thing they do? They send Reverend Al Sharpton.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And you can drive around where I live, and there's how many mega churches over here, Rhonda? How many mega churches in our area?
A lot.
A lot.
Hmm.
You got TDJ, you got Ricky Rush, you got Holy Trinity, you got Oak Cliff Bible, and all these people with these platforms
I got.
ain't doing nothing.
I got to tell you something, right? I got to tell you something to that. When something happens in the black community, the power that is usually will go to the person that agrees with them. You see what happened to own the narrative. So they will send out El Sharpton because El Sharpton agrees with them. You think they haven't made contact with Bishop T.D. Jakes? They've made contact with so many prominent black leaders, but the person that will agree with them is the person they would reach out to. You see
Okay,
what I'm saying?
and that's fine. But this is what I'm
But
telling you.
no, it's not fine. It's not fine because what it does.
no, that ain't
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this: we have the economic power,
Yes.
and when something happens in our communities, it shouldn't just be that one person. It should be the community as a whole. Is what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming from. Because Reverend Al Sharpton been around for decades, but he can't be the only one to stand up because he can't be everywhere.
Okay, let me tell you how condescending it is. Vic, do you know that when our prison problem was going on, right? Do you know when prison situation was going on during Trump, who did they call? Not a
Yeah,
black person. They called Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Then
No,
when Joe
they
Biden
went. They didn't
Biden
call
was
them. They
trying to
just
do
went.
something recently about black people, who did he reach out to? Candy B.
Candy
see
B or
how
Cardi B? You say Candy B or
disrespected-
Cardi B?
Cardi B, whatever,
Oh,
Candy
okay.
or Cardi B, whatever. You see,
Okay.
he reached out to her. How would
Well-
somebody that can't put sentence properly be the one advocating for black
And I'm
people?
gonna tell you why. Because you have to look at the platform. Even though that person has no position illegally or has no kind of, education in that background, because it's their platform. You see what I'm saying? In other words, their platform, Cardi B might have 50 million followers. But because of that right there, that's why they use somebody like that. But they shouldn't use that. They shouldn't use that person right there.
Okay, but let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
When they have to do something with white people, do they go to Taylor Swift that has almost 200 million followers? No. They go to
exactly.
JP Morgan Chase.
I'm with you.
They
with you
go
on
to
that.
Bank of America.
And that's why I said we as a community, we supposed to come out.
This
as
is
a community.
Why this program started. This is why this program started. This is why so many programs are out there. This is why this channel started. Black people have to own, prominent black people with sense, black people with education, black people that can speak have to now start talking, especially black men. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because one thing is that, okay, if you look at the White House, if you look at the program that has gone on for the past administrations, from Obama or from Bush to Biden, every time they want to do things that have to do with black people, they bring black women. It's
That's
like
true too.
black men are
That's
silenced.
true too. They do. They sure do.
Saying?
Yeah, they
it's
do
like
that.
The black men don't even exist anymore. You don't go looking for black men. Let me tell you, coming from Nigeria, right? When things want to be done about a national issue, they bring men of diverse caliber. When things have to be done in our community, meetings are called, men show up, they discuss things that are going on, and then they let men know about it. Then men will then assess the security of the community, know where the threat is coming from, and then find a way to build defense. You see what I'm saying? But here, they don't bring black men. Black men are not brought into any form of discussion.
Well, that's why we shouldn't have to wait. We should just insert ourselves.
So what they do basically is that they make it seem like the black man is not even in any single existence whatsoever. The black man is totally silenced and wiped off.
Once again, what me and Run was talking about.
Before I started this program, I said to people, this is the time that black men have to start talking.
Once again, that's why me and Rhonda was saying. Talking. Me and Rhonda was saying the destruction of the black man and the black family. That's what we were talking about.
That is right.
And they continue to destroy the families. They do continue to do that.
But we have to stop it. No, you know why they continue to do that? Let me tell you why they continue to do that. Let me tell you why they continue to do that. Because you guys have to know this. This is why they continue to do that. When I first came to America, this is what I heard when I first came to this country from black women. That the good ones are either in jail or they are gays. That's what I was told. Not by black men, but black women told me that the good men are either in jail or in prison. I got to bring Eric in. That the good men are either in jail or in prison. That's what I was told. And I believed that until maybe 2-3 years ago. I was like, hold on a minute. This is not true. You see what I'm saying? I started meeting black men with high level of education. If you go to corporations, right, you find out one thing that goes on in corporation. What do they do in corporation? They hire black women and put them in positions that black men are supposed to be. You see what I'm saying?
Because the white man fear the black man. That's why they put the black women up there, because they don't want the black man up there.
You took the words out of my mouth, Victor. I was just about to say, because the white men are intimidated by black men.
They are.
That's right.
Scared of a white man is scared of a black man. Very scared of us. So I
found that out when I was in hotel management. They didn't want me as they equal. They would always they always hired a woman over me, and they wouldn't hire me.
Because they will accept a black woman over a black man.
They sure will. And it's no secret that the white men love black women. They love the black woman too. They want to be with them.
But why
Allison, we're not talking racism. Allison, we're not talking racism. We're not talking racism. What we're talking is this, right? What we're actually trying to say, Allison, is this. It's not race. We're not talking race here. What we're talking is that our women have become so forward over the man. she's become so visible that the men are not even approached anymore. Like when a white man or Hispanic man comes into a family and he sees a woman, he goes straight to her, not knowing that that's her husband. He's thinking maybe that's maybe her brother or maybe somebody that came by. They will bypass the man to the woman because they don't think a black man is a husband. They think a black man is a weekender. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because they don't see a black man anymore as a person of authority.
He said a weekender. Damn.
Yeah, he's not a weekender.
He's a booty call.
He's like a booty call, a weekender.
That's a damn
Only there
thing.
to see his kids. That's what they automatically think. Even though he's the owner of the house, he pays the mortgage and he lives in that house. They don't think like that. They just think, oh, this guy, okay, I don't know who this is. But what happened is that we have to now, got to tell you this, we have to straighten it up by letting our women know that, okay, the time is up. Men have to take charge. But it's going to be very difficult because you got to take that masculinity off of the woman's shoulder. Some of them cannot easily relinquish that masculinity because some have lived with it for all their lives, you know. They were raised by a mother that was yelling and yelling and yelling in the house all the time, and there was no father to tell her, shut the hell up, you know. So all they've known is a mom talking and yelling and no man to tell her, keep quiet.
Boy,
I have never seen my dad, my mom yell at my dad. That's the family I was raised. So when a woman yells at me, it's like she just, all my hair stands up, you know, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to a woman yelling at me as my mother or my sister, you know.
Yeah, but not your wife.
Not as my wife.
Right.
You feel me?
I have a cousin in Trinidad, just to throw this in, right? And he was trying to teach my son something as a man. And he has now become the highest rank in the military, which is Sergeant Colonel something, whatever, okay? And when he went to Trinidad, he said something that was so profound. He said, Rhonda, and we had a little group discussion, and he was trying to tell Terrell, he says, even in my accolades, even though I have ruled armies and been over thousands of soldiers and everything, right? He said, when it comes to my family, he's married, he got 2 kids, a boy and a girl. He said, when it comes to my wife, I am the table and she is the legs of the table. Without the legs, I fall apart. You know, and it was it was so humbling to hear him speak of this because first of all, he's a very handsome young man, right? He's my first cousin. And then to see the level of achievements he has done over the years. And I think he just turned 50 recently. But I say this to say that anytime we feel we become an island, we believe it's me. It's all about me and what I say and what I do, on both sexes, on both sex, male and female. I think that's where the failure comes, because God made us to do this thing together. How does God see us? Does God see us separately, or does God see us as individuals together, this on the same level? I don't want no man come and rule me and tell me, oh, well, you're going to do as I say. Oh, yeah, you're going to do, and you're going to walk through that door and never come back. That's what I would say, you know?
Well,
but I don't mind a man being over me and being the leader and being the head and being, you know, but we got to do things together. I have a voice too. Just like you have a voice, I have a voice. Then if I don't have a voice in my relationship, why am I here?
Well, I want to touch on something that you just said, which is true. God actually made man and woman, and when he looks at us, if we're married, he looks at us not as individuals, but he looks at us as one. I said that
earlier.
Yeah, we're supposed to become one. And God's name. Now, with that said, I think me and Vic talked about this earlier. What Alex I think is talking about is really this, and the man is supposed to be the head of the household. In the Bible, it says God's the head of Christ, Christ the head of man, man's the head of woman. But he means that in the sense that first and foremost, the man is supposed to be the one that brings the spirituality or the knowledge of God to the relationship. That's how it's supposed to be, because God gave the word to man first, and women received it from man, not from God. You know what I'm saying? So although he looks at us as one, he does look at the man being the head of the household. But we all have our men and women have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. And when he said in Genesis, I'm going to make you a helpmate, he didn't say I was going to make you no slave or no, I'm going to make you somebody supposed to come in here and do what you said. He said, I'm going to make you a helpmate. But men and women have a division of responsibility in the relationship. And what Alex is pointing out is that women has distorted their place in the household of a marriage. And it's been distorted not only by them but by society as well. So and especially for the black man. So now here we are, as it always has been, on the bottom looking up, and even now we're looking up at our women, and now the women, because they're getting these jobs and stuff that they were talking about, now they think that they're supposed to be the head of the household, and that's not the way it's supposed to be, and it never was planned that way.
Also, too, going back to what we said
That's correct.
We
That's
can't hear her.
100%
She
Wait a
in the
minute,
correct.
back. She's
somebody's
waving.
talking, but I can barely hear her.
Tia
That's what I'm
said
saying.
something.
Huh?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, that's
Yeah, we can hear you now.
As I had mentioned the other day.
I think she sound far away.
Yeah, you sound far away again. You sound far
Yeah,
away.
Tia, you sound far away.
What about now?
Better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Better.
better.
Okay. As I had said earlier the other day, oftentimes we tend to marry only for love. I think love is the last thing we should look for when we get married. When you're with the right person, when you're with your actual mate, this discussion is not necessary, because everything's going to fall in line.
That's right.
You're going to submit. You're going to be respectful. You're going to do. He's
right.
going to. Alex said the other day.
She sounds so far away, we can't even hear her.
Yeah, no.
I
What
can
about
hear.
I can hear her, but it's hard. You got it. You got it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Okay.
we can't understand her. She sounds so far away.
How about now?
Better.
Okay.
Increase your volume on your phone.
It is.
If you have an earpiece on,
I took
maybe
the
that's
earpiece
the
out.
reason why.
I think it was the earpiece. One of the
oh
things,
yeah, much better.
one of the things Alice has said, a man is to protect, but it's not just protect and provide. When a man is supposed to protect physically, mentally, emotionally, provide physically, mentally, emotionally, um, spiritually, all of that. He's not just supposed to protect this, I'm your protector. He's supposed to protect me, he's supposed to provide for me my protection and emotionally, physically, spiritually, physically, if I didn't already say, he's supposed to be that provider he's my protector, he's my head. So that means he's going to cover me in every shape, form, or fashion. When he's walking in that particular area as a man, a woman is going to fall in line, where she's supposed to. She's going to love him. She's going to build that home for that man. He's going to provide the house, that physical being of house, as well as the spiritual, mentally, emotionally, all that above. And when he does that, everything else is going to fall in line, because the woman she's going to desire to do what he wants, because her husband is leading her. But when it's out of order as a man, when he's out of order, that's going to allow the woman to be out of order.
Yeah, I think your mic. If you bring that phone close to your mouth, we can hear you. Maybe we can hear you much better, more clearer.
I'm here.
Better now.
I'm right. It's right at my mouth.
Yeah, I can hear her good.
I can hear. Good.
But
Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Are you speaking in general? Because I know plenty of men that's been the provider for their wife, and unfortunately, the wife didn't fall in line.
No, you have to listen. What I'm saying is when you're with the one, apparently that's not the one. We have to make sure we're marrying, not because we love someone.
Right.
We have to make sure that person is your actual mate, emotionally, physically.
But you have to love them. You don't. You have to marry out. What do you? You have to
don't
marry out of love.
No, you do not. That's the last reason why you should get married. You can be my work. We can be.
Yeah, Eric, she's right.
That's the last reason. That's the icing on the cake. If I can still love you, but
Love comes last. Love doesn't come first.
it should not.
But it should.
No, it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. It
It
shouldn't.
should not.
In this country, I'm learning that. I know love comes first. Yeah, I've grown up on love being the
Okay.
first thing.
Y'all
But
not
now,
You know,
getting it.
in
You're
this
not
country,
getting it.
it has changed. It has
No,
changed
no,
a
no,
lot.
no. You're
no,
not
this
getting
is
it.
why love doesn't. No, this is why love is the new Sydney stuff. You see, Disney, not Sydney. I'm sorry, Disney is the Disney story.
Oh.
This is what marriage has always been. Like, let me use primitively up to maybe Disney World coming out. People used to get married through prayer, through arrangement.
Right.
Your father will see a boy that is a good guy, works hard in the society, and the thing he's going to say is that you're going to be my daughter's husband. Or a man will see a very pretty woman, a good working woman, a nice girl, well, that's somebody that is regarded, the family is regarded. The family doesn't have any criminal history. And they want you to be the wife of their son. So usually the parents will go and talk to each other, even without you guys knowing each other at all.
Yeah, this is a long
And then they will be like, okay,
Yeah.
this, that, and then they will arrange those marriage.
Yeah, that's a
These two people have no
There's no
love
more
for each
arrangement.
other.
Yeah,
But,
there's no more.
but wait. You
I'm
see,
heading somewhere, guys. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
These two people have no love for each other. Guess what? They will then come together and marry. And they will marry till one of them pass. The reason why love should not be sick for a marriage is this. Love and feelings come and go.
Yes,
And
but
once
No,
they
let
go,
him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
once that love is gone, the woman wants out
Shit.
because she got into it due to emotion and
Okay,
feelings.
emotions and love's not the same, but keep going.
okay.
No, I'm sorry, not emotion. I'm sorry. She got into it due to feelings, and when that feelings is gone, whatever feeling it is, she wants out
But on the
because she's
upside,
gonna say, I don't feel him anymore.
on the upside of that, Alex, though, when you don't marry for love, okay, when trials and tribulations come, that's why these young people step out so early in
Yep.
their marriage because they don't love one another.
No.
They
Have
haven't
no love.
committed.
No,
They
Ron,
haven't
no.
committed.
They
to
never
each other.
loved at the first place,
You didn't-
but
okay,
they have feelings.
that,
we
no,
tend
no,
to-
no,
we-
no. You
we
date.
tend to-
You date, you get to know each other, right? You date for a while, you get to know each other, you get to know his likes, you get to know what BS I can put up with or what I can't put up with before
Right.
marriage, okay?
Right.
When you find that out and you say to yourself, you know what? This guy ain't so bad after all. He have some faults. He smoke a little bit at all.
And how many men?
Let her finish, Alex.
Gotta let everybody.
You put up with everything. You find out this guy. Because you love. You see, again. I'm sorry, guys. The greatest of these is what?
Love.
Love.
Charity,
The greatest of these in love is God is what? God is who?
Love.
God Himself is love. You
You
understand?
guys are living in Disney.
No, I
world,
gotta wait a
man.
minute.
I'm
Wait,
not-
no.
you're not getting what I'm
After
saying.
he
You
finishes,
missed it
it's
all.
my turn.
But you
When we
missed it
say
all.
It's the same Bible that emasculated men.
Okay, look, hold on.
And-
Hold on.
Hold on, bro.
listen,
Hold on. We got to rewind this conversation because here's the thing. If if you're a spiritual believer in the Word of God, then you have to marry for love, because there's no such thing as arranged marriages anymore, Alex. Which I do know that's what was going on before.
My dad and my mom had an arranged marriage.
Okay.
And they lived until she died.
Okay.
All my uncles, all the people that I know,
that don't exist anymore, and it damn sure don't exist in the United States of America.
Now you're talking. That is why marriage in America only lasts for 3 years.
Okay,
because it's never arranged.
Hey, look. Can I finish my thought? Or am I going to get interrupted?
Why it only lasts for 3 years? Because women are not putting up. They don't know the value of sticking through stuff. When the F hit the fan, they want to up and run. They start saying, "Oh, I ain't have to put up with your BS. I ain't have to do this." They don't know what it is to commit. And you commit because of your love, not because of your emotions. You commit to somebody because you love them. And this is the problem with society today. They don't love one another. They're going for, the other day I was joking with somebody and I asked them, "So when you're going to marry me?" You know what he said to me? He said, what is in it? What is it in it for me? What do I get in marrying you? And I said, "Oh, so what about love?" He's like, "You don't marry for love no more." I just learned this, that people are not marrying for love anymore.
Let me interrupt, because
that is not true.
Really quick.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I haven't been able to talk yet. And if we're going to have a discussion where everybody's respecting everybody's opinion,
Eric, I understand,
then you have to let everybody have their say-so before you chime in.
I need to clarify what I said, because you're not understanding what I said. So let me just clarify first.
Okay.
That's all I want to do is clarify. When I mean love should be the last thing, you want to marry someone because you love them. I'm not saying arranged. I'm not saying arranged marriages, but the last thing you don't marry people first because you love them. Even though you may love someone, that person could be the total wrong person for you. That should be the last reason. That should be the icing on the cake. For a female, he should be loving. He should be respectful. He should meet all of your needs that you desire. And because I'm in love, oftentimes you can love someone, but they can totally be the wrong person for you.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you guys would let me have my say, I can help you understand.
First, I was just clarifying what I was saying, Eric. You can go ahead.
Here's the thing. The problem with people is you throw that love word around like it's a toy. You know what I'm saying? So until you understand how to love someone, you can't say that you don't marry for love. But I'm sure people don't, because nobody understands the concept of that word. Now, if you can understand the concept of the word, then you will marry for love. But nobody understands that concept anymore because it's distorted. It's distorted. It's like just saying, "Yeah, I like you," or like, "I love." People say, "Oh, I love this, I love that." If you get down to what the meaning of the word love is, and you marry for the true meaning of love, then everything else comes along with it, because Rhonda Mack just said it. God is love. Love is supposed to conquer everything. Everything. If you're a believer. Now, if you're not a believer, then I understand. It's a whole totally different story. We can't even conversate on this. But if you're a believer, a true spiritual believer in the Word of God, then love is the most important thing in any relationship. And if it's not,
Eric,
then the relationship's not gonna last.
You don't get into a relationship for love, but the thing is that love comes as the relationship goes. Because what happens is that love builds as the relationship goes.
Well, yeah, but you said, okay, now you're changing your story.
No.
You said,
I said don't.
Yeah, you said, Alex, you said people don't marry for love. Now you're saying
that's
they don't get in.
And that's what I still said.
Finish. You gotta let me finish. If you're not gonna let me finish, I'll just hang up.
Come on.
You said, well, then let me finish. I let you finish. I let Rhonda finish. I let the other woman finish. Let me finish my thought. If now you're saying people don't get into relationships for love. Well, of course not, because you don't know the person when you first get into a relationship. So of course you don't get into a relationship for love, but you get in a relationship because you're interested in that person. And like the other young woman said, you have qualities that you like in a man or a woman that makes you attracted to them. Now, getting on to what Rhonda said, as you get to know each other, the love builds and it grows, then you get married, and you do get married out of love. It's not out of, yes, he has enough money to take care of me. Yes, he has this to take care of me. Yes, she can do this, she can do that. No. If that's the case, that's why most marriages don't last, because nobody gets married out of love. What's the divorce rate in the United States? Over 50%. So what you guys are saying is, yeah, nobody marries for love. Well, yeah, that's why the divorce.
No, you're correct. If you're gonna quote me correctly, Eric. That's not what I said. I said
Okay, Eric.
I said what Alex said. I wasn't quoting you.
Okay, let me repeat what I said.
Y'all said that nobody didn't you say that nobody gets married for love? Ain't that what y'all said?
For love first.
Yep. For love first.
Well, that's what we said. For love first.
Right.
And that's what we said. And that's what you just said.
Right. And that's why we have a 50% or higher rate of divorce, because nobody does get married for love. You should get married for love. And if you don't, then you're really going against God's word, and you're lying to God when you make the vow to say, I'm married.
Eric, are you married?
No, ma'am, I'm divorced.
Why are you divorced? Because you love your ex-wife?
No, I do not.
Did you love her?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Why you see, the love came on and left.
Wait a minute. Let her finish asking me what she's asking me, because we're trying to get some clarity.
You love your wife. You said you loved her.
Yeah.
What happened? If you don't mind me asking, what happened to the love?
What do you mean? I didn't get you. What do you mean? What happened to the love?
What happened to the love? You loved her.
She asked for a divorce. That's what happened to the love. Shit.
But you granted her request.
I sure did.
Okay,
but if you want to get in depth, about it, I asked her 3 different times if she was really making the right decision, and if we still love each other, we should try to work this out for us and for our children. And she said no 3 times. Now, come full circle, 15 years later, she's all pining and this and that. Well, no, the love is gone. Now it's been 15 years. I'm not in love with that woman no more. If it was 15 days ago, maybe 15 months ago, I might still be. But we're talking about 15 years. Hell no, I don't love her anymore. But when we got divorced, yes, I was still in love with my wife.
But let me ask Tia a question. Tia, do you think if you're married not for love, right?
No. First, that's not what I said.
Okay.
I said love should be the last thing you want to marry for. You want to make sure he has everything else. Everything that you desire in a man. Love should not be the only reason why you should get married.
Marriage is a duty.
Right.
Okay. And I agree with you. It's not the only reason why.
But it's the main reason.
Love should be always included. But you should not marry a person because you love that person. Because you can love someone, but that person can be the total wrong person for you.
Well, that's because you're not in love with them. There's a difference in loving somebody. There's a difference in loving somebody and being in love.
But you can still be in love with someone. They can be the wrong person for you.
How did you fall in? But tell me this: how do you fall in love with somebody? So what are you in love with?
You can have someone that meets all of your attributions of what you desire, and then come to find out that you were so blinded by love, you didn't see the red flags. It happens all the time. That's the reason why we have our divorce rates is so high is because we tend to be blinded by love, and that's not who.
No, we tend to be blinded.
I don't agree with that.
We tend to be blinded by desire.
You know what? Let's put it this way.
You're blinded by good sex.
You guys
You're blinded by a
never.
bunch of money.
And you love that person.
You guys are never gonna agree on this. That is sure reason. But I gotta tell you this. Let me tell you what marriage. Marriage is not love. Marriage is duty. You have the duty to be in marriage. You have duty bound to do something.
So you don't believe in the word of God when it says when it says you two shall join together and become one. So you don't believe in that.
If you want
God spoke that. God spoke that in every religion.
I'm asking. I'm not talking about.
Man should love his wife.
I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spiritual. I'm asking you. I'm asking Alex a question.
God just did not require the woman.
And as a spiritual man, I'm not a Christian, but as a spiritual man, I'm telling you that yes, God said that a man should love his family. That includes his wife.
Right.
Yes,
But
we need
that's
to talk.
after you've been in that's after you've married the woman and after you've married the woman, then you start building that love. The first thing anybody should marry, I'm going to tell you, Eric, just check this out.
I'll
The
listen to
first
you,
thing
but
a man should, okay, when a man goes to marry a woman, the first thing a man should have in mind to marry a woman is to build a family, not to love the woman, is to build a family.
Nah.
The second thing is to create a family. The number one thing that any man should have in mind to get into a relationship with any woman is the duty to the family.
what if the woman can't have children?
Then if you can't
What if
have,
the man
because
can't have children?
guess what? You've already started the relationship with her, right? Now love is coming. If she can't have children, that is not her fault. She can have children. So it's up to the man to continue the relationship with the woman, but you've already created a family. You've created a family with that woman by having her as your wife. Now you've created a family. Now you begin to love her. You see? But that doesn't stop her from having a duty in the family, which means duty, which
cause you to stay with a woman. Love will cause you
okay.
to do
That I think you guys are Rhonda, you're saying the same thing that I'm saying. You start loving the woman. You start loving the woman, right? Now but you guys have to run a family with or without kids. A family still have to be run. That is called duty. Everybody has a duty to that family. Both you and the woman have duty to the sustenance of that family.
But don't you think, Alex, if there was no love there, right, and then you found out somewhere in the marriage,
I don't think I or Tia ever said something of love not existing in a family. We never said that. We never said that there shouldn't be a love in the family. What we said that
you said, did you say? Let me ask you. Did you say that when you find out she can't have the children or can't have children, your duty is to stay with her, and that's where the love starts?
that is not what I said.
What you
I
said?
thought you just said that.
Yeah, you
Yes,
said,
you just said that.
No, I said that. I said you've already, that once you start a family, now, once you get a woman and marry her, right? Not a woman you dated. Because if you date somebody, let's clarify this. If you get into a dating relationship with somebody, right? Let's say you see a woman, men are visual. You are attracted by what you see.
right.
Women are emotional. She will be like, okay, I like this guy, what he has. But you are attracted by what you see. You don't love that woman?
Right.
No, you don't.
That's why you date.
Then the love builds as you guys
Get to know each
continue
other,
your courtship, your relationship.
right?
Eventually you get married, right?
Exactly.
But you
Wait.
see, love has already established. Maybe before or after the marriage. But the thing about men, check this out, one thing about men. A man can marry a woman he doesn't really love yet.
Yeah, I did it.
A man usually will marry, I gotta tell you, men that I've seen or I've heard from will know that you are their wife even 3 days into the courtship. Some men know right away, that moment that they met you, they already said, I'm going to marry this girl.
Right.
I didn't know that about my ex-wife.
Was love there? Love was not there. Love came later on.
My dad.
But the thing about men, but this is the thing about men. Men have that protective attitude right after they've known a woman. They have that tendency to protect because it's in our nature.
Right.
You see? That doesn't mean he loves her. So that is why when a woman asks a man and says, do you love me? Do you still love me? It's a silly question. The reason why it's a silly question is because if anything goes through that door, he has to be the one to confront it. There is no greater love than when somebody puts his life at risk to protect somebody else.
Right.
So asking if a man loves a woman, you can only find out if somebody goes through that and he jumps the window. That's when you know if he loves you or not.
So here's my question to you and the young lady on the other line. And I wish we had this. I wish we had the statistics to prove it. I would like to know how many people? Because you can give an instance. Yeah, your mom and dad was in an arranged marriage, but what's the percentage? And your mom and dad were raised in another country, correct?
Yes, right.
Okay, so they have different values and different morals. But here's my
And guess what? I got to
hold on. Nope. You're gonna let me finish. I just had a quick question. I'm not gonna take a long time. But here's my question to y'all. What's the percentages of marriages that last from people who got married out of love and for people who got married that wasn't in love? Can you tell me which higher percentage stays
statistically, right? Let me use Africa. Let me use Africa as an example.
No, you can't use Africa. We're in America, bro.
No, I'm going to still use Africa and use America as an example. I'm going to do that.
Africa and find me a woman here.
No, Eric, you asked me a question. You cannot compress the geography.
Okay.
So this is I'm going to give you example about Nigeria. In Nigeria, during the times of arranged marriage, right? When arranged marriage was high, 95 to 99, about 95% was the survival rate of marriage. Then, today, the survival rate of marriage in Nigeria is about 35%, because now people say they are in love before they get married. So now they use marriage they use love. In fact, some people will do wedding today and divorce next year. Some people will do wedding today and walk out of their marriage 3 weeks later.
Yeah, because they get to know the person and figure out this ain't the motherfucker I wanted to be with.
But
so why would you marry somebody and you don't know them and you don't love them, and then you find yourself in the marriage and you're like, damn, I don't think
no.
I love this woman. But now I'm in a damn marriage. What do I do?
I can see myself walking down the aisle with a man next to me and saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm doing this because you got a good bank account. You take care of me. You're a good protector. You're good. You're a good life coach and everything. That don't happen. You walk down the aisle when you see your husband or your husband to be in the future. Your heart flutters because you love that person. You're in love with this man. You don't want anybody to have him before you. So that's why when he asked you to marry you, you say, as a woman, you said yes. Because
again, Ron, excuse to cut you off, but just again, what I stated originally, love would
should be the last thing we get married for.
Right. That should be the icing on the cake. That's the icing. When you say I do, that person does everything and you're madly in love with them. I never said you should not marry someone just for
reason
love only. I'm saying love. Of course you marry because of love, but that should not be your only. Why do you want to make sure he meets every dots, every I, and every corner? That's the main thing.
I can understand that. I can understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I understand what she says too, but let me ask you a question, Tia. In that case, if you make more money than him, right? And he's not adding up to being able to actually financially take care of you, do you not marry him because of that?
Let me give you my definition of financially providing. That doesn't, just because you don't make the same amount does not mean you are not a provider.
Okay.
A man will provide for you with $1.15. Providing for you doesn't just mean you got to pay all my bills. Okay. He has the mindset to put something to help. I know plenty of men. If a man was, oftentimes in this day and age, I've often seen women making more than the husband.
Right.
That shouldn't matter. As long as he's still able to have that masculinity and be the man of the house, that should still stabilize. It doesn't matter he makes more. Providing for you, again, is not just financially. It's emotionally, it's physically, it's spiritually, it's all the above. It's not just providing bill money. No, that doesn't make a man. Just because he can or cannot. That doesn't. But if he's able to bring something to the table, help with something, that's being a man, just having the duty of a man, regardless of how much he makes, he has to still be able to be the provider. And that just basically mean.
Let me ask.
I'm sorry.
Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
you a question. If the man's a provider, emotionally, spiritually, financially, what the hell's the woman doing? What's she? That means you probably going to 5, 7 wives if y'all ain't got to do. I mean, see this. You know what? This
No,
comes
you
back.
ask. You gotta let me answer. You gotta let me
Okay.
answer.
Okay.
I think you all. I'm not really sure. I guess it's all in each other's culture because that's just not how I was raised. That's one of the things that a man does. He provides, and then we provide the same thing. I provide him. I'm maybe not financially, but I provide him comfort. I provide him emotionally, spiritually, because I'm a prayer. I pray for him. I cover him with my prayers. I cover when he can't pray. I pray for him. Emotion. I give affirmations to him. I make sure when he's having a bad day, so to speak, I'm speaking life into him. So I'm providing those same things. You're kind of like saying he's supposed to do this and what? No, I think it's off balance and that's where we go lost. It's off balance to what the woman's job is.
Right.
Hey! You must be the daughter. You must be the daughter of Larry Graham, the one you say 1 in a million.
No,
because you don't hear women saying that no more. That's why I'm saying it. You don't hear women saying that no more.
Not at all. And that's why, especially in America, there's so many only black women, and they don't think like that. They think, and especially because they've been promoted into these jobs above their men, they automatically. That's why you got more black women, dating outside of their ethnicity. Which I don't care. It's your whoever you decide to be with. That's your business. But the reason why the black women in America is single and lonely is because they don't think like that. They think that all they got to do is fuck their husband and they're good, and that's some bullshit.
And then too, Eric, I just again I think that comes down with marrying the wrong person. I think again when you're with the right man or woman, everything else would just fall in line. I think oftentimes again, in my opinion, we marry because of love, because we love that person. We kind of allow those red flags to disappear.
But how did you fall in love with that person? What is it that made you fall in love with the person?
Oftentimes you fall in love because, and then again, you're not really. I don't think you're actually in love. This is emotional right there.
You think it's infatuation? You think it's infatuation?
Aha.
And then they have.
So we're not married. So according to you, you're marrying for infatuation, not for love. Then
I think I think we marry because we have so many things in common. We can, the things that we do together, that we see that we kind of almost like think alike. I mean, these are reasons why people eventually, this person is not saying that you want a person exactly like you, but I'm just saying that because that makes it. They say opposite attracts. I don't know. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes that is not true.
It's true. Oh,
well,
it's true.
Not all the time. Opposite don't.
Not all the time. Oh Lord, not all the time. But yeah, but it does happen.
Yes, some things.
I want to get back to what Tia was talking about when she said people marry for love. Well, and then she said, "Well, now it's not really love." So then we have to cancel what you and Alex. What happened to Alex?
He went to a bathroom break, I guess.
People, and that's what I was trying to say at the beginning, and I think we were saying the same thing. I was trying to say that people don't get married for love; they think they're in love.
Exactly. Yes. Right. I agree. Right. You think you're in love, but when I don't think we actually know the meaning. We use that word
so loosely,
very, very loosely, and I don't think it's love that we're marrying because that's probably why you should say that would be the last reason. They don't meet any of your qualities of what you want in a spouse, but you think it's love, so you go ahead and accept the engagement when they propose to you.
Exactly.
And I think that's why.
But one of the things we all agree is that when you decide to marry somebody, the one thing you do nowadays, people should date and get to know people. You need to get to know their families. You need to get to know their friends. You need to get to know them, find out who they are, where they come from, what kind of lifestyle they live. There's so many things, so many variables that you got to contend with because those things at some point are going to tell you if this the right person for you or not.
And we ignore those things, Victor.
I didn't know those things. There was some crazy ass women out there, so I made sure I didn't know that thing.
We tend to ignore them because we think we're in love, and we think those things would just subside.
Well, the people think they're in love because they're getting it put on them. That's why they think they're in love.
Thank you.
Because the sex is good.
People get married.
The sex is good.
Yeah,
Being up stirring it like coffee.
And that's why we, wait.
Being up stirring it like coffee. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing about it is this, right? A lot of people have their perspective of marriage. You see, a lot of people have their perspective, but I got to tell you something. Statistics doesn't lie. Check this out. Pre-1965, right? 85% of black people were married. 85% of black people were married. Back in those days, the marriage wasn't love. It was duty. Today, only 25% of kids born in black community is born in marriage. 75% is born outside marriage.
Can you clarify what you mean by it was duty back then? What do you mean?
Back then, people marry for duty. They marry because they have to start a family. They marry because it was the duty of the family that a man should go get a wife and marry. So statistically, black community was the number one married community pre-1965. The black community is number one in terms of marriage rate pre-1965. Today is the opposite. Almost 75% not married. Then not only that, but this is where the black man gets the credit, because everybody always say that black man is this, black man is that. Do you know that black man in America is the number one, is rated number one in terms of being in the lives of their children, both married or unmarried. Black man pays child support more than any other race.
You sure right about that?
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But then they call black men a deadbeat dad. They call him a deadbeat dad.
Yep.
But he pays highest in child support. He's always there to be in the kid's life, no matter what. He might have 3, 4, 5 baby mamas.
Fucking piece of chicken. That's all. We don't get no accolades or nothing. Hell.
No accolades. No accolades whatsoever.
Nope.
And guess what? It was just recently. I think it was George Joe Brown that said it, and it was actually a U.S. census and U.S. statistics. Mm-hmm. But nobody was talking about that. Let's say if you look at the politics that just happened in Georgia, you see, what's her name, Abrams. The reason why she lost that election was because of the bashing that she bashed black men. So a lot of black men didn't vote for her. Instead, they voted for her opponent. But then they voted for the Senator Warnock.
That's not true. The election was rigged, according to,
It wasn't rigged. It was not rigged. It was not rigged. She knew. She even said it. She said it. Even our people said that black men voted against her big time.
Well, you know what? I don't really want to put politics into this discussion.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is this. The reason why I said this, Eric, check out.
Bro, and it always has been. This country was established off of criminal capitalism, and
that's 100%. 100%. The reason why I said this is this, right? Mm-hmm. Man, like I'm gonna take this into business very soon. Men have to start speaking out, but also black men have to start doing. We've got to brush our image. Because image.
You have to do what to our image?
We have to brush our image. We have to own our image. We can't let people define us anymore.
That's right.
We have to start. We
can't let Hollywood and music videos and stuff like that.
We got to stop. We got to stop using hip hop, rap, and basketball as the only three things that define black men. Well, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they define us with these three things. So
Well,
what
that's
I'm s-
society that defines us like that. That's white America that defines it. Look, let me tell you something, bro. I mean, if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it all, first of all, we have to know who we are and where we come from. And most black men and most black people don't know where we come from, who we are, and that we're offspring and that we're descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No, a lot of people don't know that. So they listen to what the white man. We all listen to what the white man pegs us as. Yeah, this is the black man does this, and we listen to that shit and we falling. Just like and it's because it's been systematically put in our minds since we were little in this country that the only thing a black man can be is a pimp, an athlete,
Drug dealer.
or a drug dealer.
or a thug.
From
Or a
movies
thug.
to TV, everything from the time that I was 3 or 4 years old, started watching TV. The only thing you never seen a black superhero until 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You never seen nothing positive. And now look, even now the black man is still portrayed in a negative light. Look at all this LGBTQ and gay shit. Every time you see something gay on TV or in a movie, most of the
It's
time
two black men. It's two black men. Yep.
yeah, because they're trying. The black man has been getting tore down since they brought us over here.
You can't blame it. I can't just blame a white man for that gay stuff because, like I said earlier, Eric, you were not here when I said it. But let me repeat what I said.
Hold on. You didn't listen to what I was saying.
Yeah, you didn't say
I
that.
didn't say just for gay stuff. I said for tearing the black man down. Period. Not just being.
I know what you said. But this is what I'm trying to say. When before you came online, right? This is what I said earlier. When I first came to this country, I didn't hear this from a black man. Neither did I hear from white man or white woman. It was actually the black woman was telling me that most black men in America are either gay or in prison. I'm telling you for real.
And that's the truth.
That is not the truth.
That is the truth.
Most black men are either gay or in prison.
I wouldn't say gay, but prison, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You know why?
Go visit. Hey, Alex, go visit some Texas prisons. Every prison in Texas is 50% black and then 50% everything else.
In Texas.
No, sir. In every prison in America.
Okay, let me tell you, most even Allison right now just said it right now. I got to tell you, I went through in U.S. prison statistics. Guess what happened?
What?
When you check in percentage compared to per capita, there are more black men in southern prisons per capita. When you put it in number, there are more white people in prison in number.
More white people in the country. Just like there's more white people on
That's right. But guess what? Let's break it down too. When you now start going into academic demographics, right? This is going to blow some minds up now. The black men in prison are usually from single mother. Highest rate is single mother. Number 2, low education. Number 3, mental health.
I don't know
Okay. No. I'm telling you, based on the breakdown of the prison statistics. So a lot of black men that are in prison are black men with mental health. They're not supposed to even be at the prison at the first place. You know where they're supposed to be? Psychiatric hospital.
Psychiatric ward, yeah. But they put us in prison because.
But they put them in prison. These are people that are already mentally messed up. They're not supposed to be in prison. They put them in the prison because of the prison industrial complex.
Well, and then
guess what? Check this out, my brother. Let me finish.
Okay.
And that rate is the highest rate. Is almost 35% of black men with mental health issue are in prison.
Well, that's a whole.
And check this out. Let me say this. Then when you get into the academic demographics, right? There are far less black men with education who have finished GED, that finished high school with GED and above in prison than the rest race. White is highest in that.
Why is there so many uneducated black men?
Okay. This is why there's so many uneducated black men. Based on the, I read a lot of things. I read a lot of statistics. That's one thing that helped me so much in this country. Since I came to this country, I read a lot.
Why you think that there's so many uneducated black men, and then I'm going to tell you the real. So you tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you what I know.
Okay. Pose that question again.
Why is there so many uneducated black men in America?
Okay, guess what? So, the reason why there are so many uneducated black men in America is because during the urban movement, right? When people started moving from country to the urban, that was when the United States government built a lot of projects, right? So in that project, that's where the welfare system hit so hard. So many fathers were not there to raise the boys. So what happened is that those boys, due to the lack of fatherhood, they stepped outside to look for fatherhood. A lot of them came across those gang leaders. They came across the guys selling drugs on the street. And those guys influenced those boys. And they got in trouble. So that was the reason why there was a lot of, so since 1975, when that's at the peak of the what do they call it? The complex, the building of those high-rise complexes in the cities, that was when the crime rate started to go up a little bit. By 1981, out of mother pregnancy began to rise. By 1981, 1982, girls at the age of 15, 16 start becoming pregnant with 15, 16-year-old boys they made. So the girls would take the kids home, and the young boy would run to the street, messed up. So now she's raising the child alone by herself because she got pregnant so early, and then he's running the street. You see what I'm saying?
Let me tell you why there's so many uneducated black men. Because that was part of the system of keeping us. It's just like when they brought the Bible over here and we were still in slavery, but we weren't allowed to read, bro.
That's right.
Okay. So if they were not allowing us to read then, as they did start allowing us to read and stuff, they still made it more difficult for us to get an education. They did separate but equal, but our schools were always on a lower scale than their schools. It's always been harder for a black man to get an education in this country than anybody else. And it's not because they went out, and the reason why they went out and started joining gangs and stuff, because it was easier to join a gang than it was to try to get in a school, because they made it so difficult for us to be able to go to a fucking school.
But I got to also dispute that. Starting from 19 no. But 19 in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, yes, you're right. But as of 2000, I would say the mid-90s to now, no, accessibility for the black man to get educated is far much higher now. Most black men can get whatever education they want. Started like more than 25 years ago.
Right. But okay, 25 years ago, bro. But how many years have they not been able to get the education? And then if you got an uneducated man raising children, then what do you think he's going to encourage them? He wasn't able to get the education that he needed. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going to be that much encouraging to his children education, because it's always been so difficult.
Eric, put it this way. When you hear what comes out of a lot of our people's mouth, right? You got to be shocked. Like me, myself, I remember when I was when I was getting into college, when I came to this country, new, right? By 2005, I was talking to this girl, and I wanted her to go to college. And she told me, no, I'm not going to college. College is not for black people. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? I'm like, I go to college with black people from here, and you don't want to go to college. And she's like, no, my mama told me, my people told me that college is not for black people. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't know what Alabama redneck the Alabama person you deal with, because the black people.
No, I'm talking about here in Texas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My people I know was trying to get to college. They just couldn't afford it.
I know, Vic. But you gotta be shocked that a lot of people still think that black men can go to college in this country.
They couldn't afford it, and they made financial aid impossible for us to get. Cause
I gotta tell you, everybody can afford college,
for me, they disqualified my dad to give me financial aid.
Alex, everybody couldn't afford college. Maybe now in the last 5-10 years, maybe 15.
20 years.
But if you start, look, it's just, man, if you start at the beginning when they're in the 40s and the 50s, 30s, when it was almost impossible.
No, we can't talk. Those people are too old now. That generation is all.
They had children, and they had it instilled in their head that college is not.
They move from generation to generation. Yes. Right. That's right.
And they wasn't allowed in college. They wasn't allowed in college back then either.
But this is why this podcast is podcasts like this are needed. You know why these podcasts like this are needed? So we can start telling our people that you can go to college, you can make money, you can own a business, you can employ people, you can make it in this country.
Let me interject too. My son, and this is a living proof, he's only 25. He just came out of college a few years ago. And he told me this. He says, Ma, I'm understanding life a little bit better. Because he had a white best friend. This guy was his very good friend in his class. And he said that he swore up and down. He swore, because my son is very smart, brilliant, right? He said the exam that he took, for some reason, the white boy's paper was different from his paper. His paper was much harder than the white boy's paper.
Yeah, that shit goes on, bro.
That stuff still happens today. He told me too, which is so which I know it's happening. The white boy, when he came out of college, his father knew this man, this GE somewhere, and he got a job like that without.
They do.
My son has a lot of good credentials. He's a finance major, right? He went into the military, yes, but before he went into the military, he couldn't find a job. And he had the same education as that white boy. The same exact, if not even better.
You know why I agree with you? Let me tell you why I agree with you in that 100%. When I graduated from college, right? That was during the sequester. I could not get a job.
Me neither.
I couldn't get a job. Guess what? All the white guys that we graduated with, they got jobs. In fact, the black guys that got jobs that I know during that period that I graduated, they all had military backgrounds. So without military background, we black guys couldn't get a job. The ones that, in fact, the ones without military clearance, they wouldn't hire us. But the black folks with military that have military background, they were being hired all the time.
Right.
Then white folk, in fact, I was so shocked that some jobs that I go to apply for, the white guys that will interview me don't even have college degree.
Yep.
They'll get the job.
Yep. They got the job though.
So you just pretty much.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not disputing.
He contradicted himself.
You just basically to what we were saying.
Remember, we weren't talking about jobs. We were talking about education first, right? So I was speaking based on education, not based on job.
But you were saying that black people don't have education. Well, the reason why they don't have education is
because it's still suppressed. Because
we can't afford it.
Being suppressed.
When we do go get it, it don't matter because we still are black. Well, I have a degree from SMU. I couldn't get a job in my field. The job I'm working in now doesn't require me to have no fucking degree.
That's right.
I work for myself.
That's right.
And check this out. When my daughter got her college,
I'll let you speak. Hold on, Vic. I have a degree in broadcast from SMU, and I couldn't fucking get a job anywhere in Texas when I grew. So you can't always say that the reason why we're uneducated or whatever. What's the reason? Well, yeah, a lot of black people are gonna get discouraged from why should I go in debt and go get a degree when I go do it, I'm not gonna be able to get a fucking job, but I'm gonna have all this $100,000 worth of debt. Well, what the fuck good is a degree to me then?
That's true. That's true. And the reason why most black men can but that is why we have, like Allison was saying, she said, what am I hearing is we must create again and build our own wealth again.
That's what I said earlier. That's what I said earlier
true.
because
Because
my daughter was one girl. My daughter graduated with a bachelor's degree, and when my daughter graduated with a bachelor's degree, and she tried to get a job, shit, they was only trying to give her a job $14, $15 an hour with a damn bachelor's degree. And all the white people getting $80,000, $90,000 a year jobs, and she's getting $15
They
an
were
hour.
paying white. When I graduated, they were offering white guys $50, $60 an hour. They were offering me $21, $25.
I know. I ran across all of them. Hell yeah, I know.
I'm a victim of that system too. I'm a victim of that system, but the reason.
So can't you
Go
see
ahead,
how
Vic.
discourage someone from trying to get an education?
Yeah. When I
We
worked
can't
at the
discourage
Hyde
anybody
House,
from this.
when I worked at the Hyde House, I had white guys telling me, man, I don't know how he made out of college. I poured in the drink all the time, but they still graduate and got good paying ass job.
See what I'm saying? So that's why you have so much so many uneducated black men or black people, especially in this country, because what's the use of it if you go get it, but you can't get treated equally when it comes to the job market? What the fuck?
But this is where everything is going to come to. This is where we have to change things.
Mm-hmm.
Black people,
we do have to
We
change.
can't change it. It's not in our power to change, Alex.
No, it is.
We can now.
I'll tell you why. Black Wall Street was built and bombed in the 1920s, right?
Right.
Black people can still build Black Wall Street today with much more bigger capital.
And they'll buy
Black people spending power in America, which represent about 80%, 75 to 80% of their annual earned money. That's for the ones that are spending. I'm talking about mostly poor and middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Is about $1.8 trillion.
Yeah, we spend more money than anybody in this country.
But we got to stick together too, though.
And not only that, check this out. Unreported, I'm talking about credit cards. These are mostly credit cards that are captured, right? The cash money and the credit card by black people is almost close to $3 trillion or a little bit above that when you add cash money. Then there is underground money that nobody sees. Gambling, drug dealing, and all these things. Now you're talking about close to $4 to $5 trillion. Black people have the wealth. They have all the resources to create the most powerful economy owned by black people. You know why I said that? When Jewish people came to this country, what they did first was to build their own. They built their own businesses. They tapped into the people that came before them, like J.P. Morgan, right? That came before them that are Jewish, that built this company, that built these things. They tapped into that. They brought their own money with them from Germany. After 1945, they built more. In fact, they expanded far better. They own all the music and movie industries. They use black people to earn their own money. You see what I'm saying? They used black people money to earn their own money because what they did, they tapped into black artists to build Hollywood. They tapped into white artists to build Hollywood. We can build our own engineering companies. We can build Hollywoods. We can build restaurants. We can build logistics. We can build clothing lines. We can build a lot of things in this country by coming together.
That's the whole problem. You just that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, and that's what I just said too.
See, black people don't know how to do that. And that's the problem. Man, if you look around, especially in this country, Mexicans support Mexicans, white people support white people, and East Indians. But when it comes to black people, we don't know how to support each other. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because we don't know who we are, and we've been our mind has been diluted to think that white is right, and we need to be going along with. We've been conditioned to actually attack each other than to help each other.
Well, let me say my version of that. The reason why sometimes I have a hard time supporting black business, number one, because they give me such shitty services when I go to their establishment.
That's right. I'm about to say something.
I done been to some black businesses, man, and the service was so shitty and the products were not even that damn good. If I and if I must spend my money with you, whether it's food, clothing, whatever, you better give me the same damn service. I'm gonna get down the street to somebody else's place.
At the white.
Let me use two examples. You have a fast food you have a restaurant that is owned by a black person, a black family. And you have a restaurant that is owned by a white family. They're all next to each other. You're going to see a lot of traffic on the white restaurant instead of the black restaurant. You know why? Because when you get into that white restaurant, you treated with respect. They come there, they take your order regardless of your race. They're looking at your money, not your race. You go to a black restaurant, first the black woman right at that cashier will have attitude with you first.
Why it's gotta be a black woman? I can't be a black man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the restaurant I've been to was black dudes in there, and they the one that had the attitude.
So the black woman at the cashier will have an attitude with you first. Then the black guy that is on the back of the store is going to be looking at you like you're looking at the girl.
Yeah.
You see?
This is all perception, though. That's perception.
So here's my question.
No. It's not perception.
That is perception, because I've gone into fantastic black-owned businesses and I was treated nicely. So that is not statistically correct, Alex. This is just like hypothetically speaking that maybe in the ghetto that happened. But if you go into a nice neighborhood that has a black-owned restaurant, they treat you nice. They're courteous. Right now I'm thinking of this one that.
Now you're talking something different.
No.
And I got to tell you why the biasness is here. You know why the biasness is here, Rhonda? This is why that biasness is coming from me or all of us. But I will speak for my biasness. The reason why is because you have a black person with less education owning a business and doesn't understand customer service versus a white guy that went to college, understand customer service, knows how to run the company. No, I'm heading somewhere, please. Just hold on. The problem with us is this, both black or white, is that we always want to compare the shitty white guy to the rich black guy. And we don't know how to separate hierarchy in black community. Because to us, a black guy is a black guy, irrespective of his education or qualification. We group ourselves in one box. But when we go to white community, we know the trash, we know the middle class, and we know the rich and the super rich. We know them. That is why when you see somebody like Magic Johnson, he's going to be treated disrespectfully by a white police officer. Just like the guy, the poor drug dealer on the street, or maybe the wretched black guy on the street driving a 1984 Cadillac. So they treat us almost the same because we also treat each other almost the same. You see what I'm saying?
Because we've been conditioned to do so.
Yes.
Right. And let me elaborate on what you're saying. Let me tell you something. Every time black people do come together in this country, white folks find a way to fuck it up. Every time. Look, that's right. The Black Panthers were never a violent organization. They were there to unite the black community. And when they started doing it too much, we started coming together, the white folks said, "Oh shit, that's too much power. We had to stop that shit." Just like you were talking about the Black
Wall Street.
Also, same shit. Oh, wait a minute. These niggas got too much power, too much money. We got to stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Every time we try to come together and we start building something together, they always come in and knock that shit out, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what, dude? I find myself after listening to Louis Farrakhan talking about that Kyrie incident, I find myself wanting to join the Nation of Islam. and I've never, and for real, I'm 58 years old. I've never thought about it. But after listening to him and really knowing what
he was powerful. I listened to him today.
Yeah, did you
That was
listen?
very powerful.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way. The reason why it's easy to break us is because we always do things together. When you have all your eggs into one basket, right? It's easy to come and destroy that egg, all that eggs, because they are all in one basket. But we have to do things separately but united, which means some people are doing this, some people are doing that, some people are doing that. We have to build multiple industries so that we can create multiple job opportunity for our people.
Right.
All of us shouldn't be in one thing because it's easy to. The reason why it was easy to bomb Black Wall Street was because Black Wall Street was located in Tulsa,
In a nice
Oklahoma.
area.
So it was easy. But if we had black businesses in Chicago that are thriving, in Oklahoma, in Los Angeles, in New York, every part of the country, they can attack us in all 50 states or 50 big cities or 200 big cities. They cannot do that simultaneously. You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes too big for them to attack. Now, what are they going to do? They will be forced to assimilate us into the economic society.
Maybe. Don't forget they still own and run the military.
That's why we have to own our own banks, because
I was just going to say they own the banks too. They own the banks and stuff.
The key function of any society is to have an institution that operates the currency. If we have our own banks, a lot of our people will be protected.
Hey, you think so? You see what Hillary Clinton did to Gaddafi or whatever, right? When they had their own banks and money,
man,
and they came out the European, they went over there and bombed their ass over there and tore his country up.
Man,
no, this is America. We're talking about America, not an independent country.
I know. I'm just letting you know. We get our own stuff. Talking about doing our own stuff. You better have your insurance. Hey, put me on your insurance policy, player, just in case.
But I had something to say too about why we constantly get kept back in a lot of different areas. We're going back to that, right? And I can tell of my friend Allison, who's on the podcast. Her name is Allison Hope. And she applied for this job, which she was overqualified for. Well, not overqualified, but she was well qualified for the job. Right?
You have an echo when you're talking.
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know what echo it is. You there?
Okay.
So she went for the job, and her name is Allison Hope. And apparently, and this happened to not only her, another friend of mine happened too. When they saw that she was a Black woman, they thought Allison Hope was a white person. Yep. And as soon as she got there, it's pretty much like the job position was filled. She never got a second opinion. She never got a second chance to interview or to interview at all, because they saw the color of her skin. And Alex, this happens every day.
That's right.
We are being constantly suppressed in so many different ways. And, I hear people say, oh, you can't blame the white man. Sometimes it's not blaming the white man for years ago, but it's happening today. It's happening in our society.
You know why we say don't blame the white man? The reason why we say don't blame the white man is that we have to start creating our own jobs. We have to start doing our own thing, but also make it professional. You see what I'm saying? If you call a black man right now to come and you have something to fix in your house, and you call a black guy to come and give you a quote, and you call a white man, the black guy quote will go through the roof. In fact, a client of mine, the lady that was telling you guys about,
did me like that too. Did me the same way. The black people that we supposed to know went through the damn roof with the quote over here. I'm like, ain't that a...
Yeah, like check what happened. I have a lady that told me one time that she called a black guy because she wanted to patronize black business, right? So she called a black guy to come and give her a quote on her business. When the black guy showed up and found out that she lived on a 7 acre of land, they gave her a quote by almost twice the price the white guy gave her.
Mm-hmm. Now, those might be isolated incidents, but getting back to what you're saying about creating jobs and this and that and the other, well, creating jobs and wealth requires money. And
that's right.
If I go and apply for a loan with the SBA, and a white dude goes to apply for a loan with the SBA, I guarantee you he's going to get the money a lot faster and probably more than what I would get, because
He's going to get more.
the playing
But
field is not even, Alex. And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we need to build wealth. You're right. And we need to build wealth within the community. Me and Vic's been talking about this for the longest. If we could just get black people to spend with black people, but here is the problem with what you guys are saying. When we try to do that, these damn dumbass Negroes, I'm gonna stop using that word. But these dumbass black people, they start trying to overcharge us and shit. And so yeah, well, damn, we don't want to do. Now we're gonna go do business with the white man because here you are. We're trying to provide. We're trying to go black. Just like when I had my car detailed after this lady threw up in it a couple months ago. Remember I told you about that, Vic? And the motherfucker came over here, and he didn't. When he finished, there was still the side of the car where the lady threw up at the bottom of on the rail. There was still a bunch of. I'm like, how do you miss that shit? You know what I'm saying? And I used him just because he was black, and then what I get fucked because of it. So it's a double-edged sword for us. We can't get the proper financing, and then when we do find somebody black to do business with, unfortunately, they're trying to hit a lick instead of, or just like when black people find out that we own our own business. Like, have you ever had a black man come or a black person? Oh, you own this business? I know I can get a hookup. Can I get a deal? No, motherfucker, you're gonna get the same price that anybody else charges you.
that's right.
But they automatically think because they're black and we're black that we're supposed to give them some kind of deal or something. That's good.
No, the thing about business is this: you don't give people deal, but you give competitive price.
Right.
Which means you make sure that the price that you're giving them is in line with the competition.
You can't do that with black people. I did a Uber from here, took some people to Addison. Uber charged them $200. Right? I gave my number to pick them up and brought them back. I charged them $150. They got mad. I said, well, you just paid $200. I said, you just paid $200 with Uber. And I gave you $50 off.
Right. But because you're black, they think, oh, I should get $100 instead of
$100. I'm like, no, you just saved $50.
I still pay car notes and commercial insurance
like
the next motherfucker.
You know? The thing is that our folks do that. They do that a lot. But the thing is that either both the consumer and the seller always want to screw each other in our community.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
And then they'll go to the white folks and pay the highest price.
And pay the highest price. They do. There's a lot of truth to that.
The white
That is
man,
true.
the white person would charge them a high price and they won't ask any questions. Okay.
Won't ask no question.
No questions. Smile and just get in the person's car.
That is why I still
Rhonda,
say
your phone sounds muffled now.
it is true, because if you look at it like this way, you see that 80% of black people, 80% of black according to statistics, right, center of that's the U.S. Commerce, Department of Commerce, said that black people spend 80% of their money in white-owned businesses.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah,
know
they
why?
spend
Because
80% of their money in
white-owned business than the black-owned business. That's why.
And let me tell you another reason why. Me and Eric go to Terry Black. Nice place, it's clean. This, that, and other. I go to the barbecue place over in the hood. It's trash. They ain't got nowhere to sit. They come outside to you. They don't half want to speak to you. You can't use the restroom. You got to sit out there. It's a bunch of bullshit. And they've been there 20 years at that barbecue place.
The one by the VA hospital, right?
No, I'm talking about the one right here on 35 and Laurel Lane. It's two of them right there on 35 and Laurel Lane. No.
Yeah, that after 67, right?
No, 35 and Laurel Lane.
Oh, Royal Lane. Okay. I'm talking about South Dallas. Okay. No. That's another thing. Like, that is not just here in America. Even back home in Nigeria. Like I tell people all the time, you gotta spend money to make money.
You stupid.
You gotta spend money. You gotta make sure that the environment where you're doing business looks better than your house. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's stop at this place right now. I will talk to you guys the next. I'm going to let you guys know the next time we're going to do this again. Thank you so much, guys, for coming, and I really appreciate you guys coming. Okay.
Hey, is I checking the mail? For this podcast? We've been here a long time.
Before we start any money, we got to be at 10,000. We have to have 10,000 views I think it's 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 views before. That is why you guys got to start telling people about it so that they can start subscribing. So it can go up and then we'll start making money.
Let me ask you one question before you stop. What was the beginning concept of this podcast? Because I remember you said something about category 5 or level 5 or something, but I haven't heard anything.
Okay, we have.
I know maybe I missed it because I came in so late.
No. What happened is that 3 days a month earlier this week we started with category 3. Category 3 means women that are 4 foot 11.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Then we did category 4, which is mostly women that are not really big but skinny, not beautiful, but they usually get married. Because the men that marry them are usually those men in what do they call it? The men that's blue collar men. You marry those women. You see what I'm saying? That's most women that you see that are married to blue collar men fall in that category. Then group 5 is that I don't need no man. I can do it all by myself.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of them.
You know, the girls with attitude that you come across in restaurant.
Yep.
They're average looking. They're not ugly. They're not beautiful, but they're average looking. They get men because they are average looking women. But they have the highest rate of unmarried women in that group. And the reason why is just one reason: attitude. That's it.
Okay.
They're usually between 5'4" and 5'11" or 6 foot. They don't go past 6 foot. They're not below 5'4". They're in that range, but they have really bad attitude.
And probably a very high. What's the word? They are high
earners. They have college degree. They make good money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go to school. But the thing is that they are between 180 pounds, 160 pounds to about 220 to 230 pounds.
Damn, this
me like that, Alex.
Yeah?
Nothing. I was just making fun. So why are you talking about me like that?
Oh, you ain't that. You don't weigh that much.
No, but also for me, let me clarify that they are between the age of 25 and 35.
Okay.
But what happens is this: when they exceed that age, they either carry it into their age that's continuous with their age as their age increase, or they drop it off and say, you know what, I give up. Yeah. But most time they do give it up.
Okay. I remember you said something about level 5, but I didn't get to know what that was. Okay.
Yeah, level 5. Level 5 women are, if they can, they are the best women to marry. Yeah, they are the best to marry, but I can do it all by myself.
The best woman to marry is a virtuous woman. Proverbs 31.
Hey.
Yeah,
that's the best woman.
But guess what?
I say the best woman to marry is the one that wakes you up, and break you off something.
The next conversation is going to be level 6. Level 6 is going to be super interesting. You know why?
Why?
When we log in, you guys will know why.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be next time. Okay, guys.
Okay, all right, I'll let y'all later.
Let me close up the monologue, okay? I'll continue and then I'll close up the monologue. Talk to you guys later.
I'll holler at y'all tomorrow, man. I got to get off this.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I got to go. All right, peace.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I really appreciate you guys tuning into this program for tonight. It was a very nice program, good conversation. The first 30 minutes, I didn't know there was no audio. So I'm going to edit the video to remove the non-audio portion and then post the rest online. So I'm going to schedule this video for later on to be posted. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I really appreciate it. Like I said, level 5 women are very interesting, average-looking women, but it's only the attitude that is the only thing that stops them from getting married. We all have people like that in our families, sisters, ex-girlfriends, whatever. But they are highly educated. They come with a lot of college degrees. But they are the ones that will say, I can do it all by myself. I don't need no help. So thank you so much, guys, for listening, and have a good night. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.